Welcome in to Locked On Phillies. What a win. What a performance by Bryson Stott. The kid plays hero. We'll break it all down today on Locked On Phillies.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, this is Locked On Phillies. I'm your host, Connor Thomas. Been talking Phillies baseball for years now over at 97.5 The Fanatic on the radio here in Philadelphia. Happy to be here with your host of Locked On Phillies. And I want to thank you for making Locked On Phillies your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And a real quick shameless plug, if you're in the Philadelphia area, even if you're not, you can get it on the app. 97.5 The Fanatic has an exceptional midday show with Anthony Gargano, a legend of the Philly sports talk radio scene. If you know Philly sports, you know the cuz. Andrew Salchun is normally on the board. Well, they're both out tomorrow. So believe it or not, yours truly, Connor Thomas, I'll be hosting 97.5 middays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 97.5 The Fanatic on the radio. Give it a listen. Call in if you want to. If you're a fan of this program, we'll be talking some Phillies baseball. We'll be covering a bunch of Philadelphia sports stuff. But a huge career moment for me to host one of the main shows in a major market for sports talk radio. Dream come true tomorrow. I would love it if you were along for the ride with me. Now let's jump into what we do on this program, which is talk Philadelphia Phillies, and what a night it was at Citizens Bank Park. A weird game for both sides in this one. The Phillies taking on the Braves, ultimately pulling out a 6-4 win. Let's jump into how it happened, because there were some real strange plays in this one. The first inning was normal. Went off without a hitch, no runs for either side. And then in the top of the second, Ranger Suarez, who started the game for the Phillies and looked much better, gets 2 outs. You're like, okay, we're good. And then, he gives up a single. And you get like, okay, well, that's fine, whatever. 1 out single to Marcell Ozuna. And then one of the Contreras brothers, of course, the catcher who was starting, singles to right field, moving Marcell Ozuna up to second. You're like, okay, well, still 2 outs. You got the bottom of the order up. Then Arcia walks and loads the bases and starting to get a little bit of nerves there. But I kept saying up in the box. I was sitting there with John Kincaid, who hosts the morning show. He was in the building last night saying hi to some people because he used to work in Atlanta covering the Braves and doing sports talk radio down there. I was saying to him, they're fine. And then a chopper ground ball gets hit to third base by Harris, of course, who was batting last. Arcia batting 8th. Sorry about that. And, Johan Camargo comes charging in, makes the play, throws it to first base, and the throw is a little bit up the line, but Rhys Hoskins looked like he stretched way too early and in just like the complete wrong direction. They ruled the error on Camargo. Really looked like a play that Hoskins should have made. It should have been an E3, in my opinion, and the opinion of most people sitting around me in the press box. But bottom line is, routine ground ball, routine play, plenty of time. Camargo throws it slightly up the line, and Rhys Hoskins makes a terrible play trying to field it at first. And 2 runs score on that play. Next up, there's a wild pitch in the next at bat to Ronald Acuna. It scores Arcia from third because it gets through JT Realmuto, a little breaking ball. It was scored as a wild pitch. I didn't really see a good angle from it because we see from behind in the press box, but I'll trust the scorer's ruling on that one. And then Ronald Acuna ended up grounding out to the pitcher, but not before it was 3-0. All the damage done in this top of the second with 2 outs. But then in the bottom of the second, the Phillies have some weird stuff of their own happen in their favor. JT Realmuto grounded out to start the inning, but then Nick Castellanos singles to right when they kind of fisted off his hands. A nice game for Castellanos. We'll talk about that. Then Alec Bohm hits one of the hardest hit, maybe the hardest hit ball of the night, including a home run that we'll talk about later that you've probably already seen a bunch of replays for. But ropes one in the left center gap, doubled to the wall. He's on second. Nick Castellanos is on third. Then Jairo Munoz strikes out swinging to let there be 2 outs in the inning. And Bryson Stott walks to the plate. Stott has a pretty solid at bat against Max Fried. Just takes strike 1 looking. But strike two, and it's not a long at bat. The reason I said it's pretty solid at bat is because what the result was. Stott hits one like kind of off the end of the bat with that weird spin. There actually was in on his hands. I don't know how he did it. I've never seen anything like it. If you haven't seen it, go look up the video of Bryson Stott's double. It was off his hands and kind of like a short humpback liner that was dropping right in front of Matt Olson. And Matt Olson, rather than like trying to lay out and get it because it looks like it's just a nice routine soft line drive that's going to bounce and you just got to pick it up off the like weird hop and just go to first. Well, the ball takes a right turn at Albuquerque. I guess the left turn at Albuquerque is the actual expression. I don't know. The ball hits the ground and immediately just spins completely right at almost a 90-degree angle. I've seen it in wiffle ball. I've never seen it in baseball. It was incredible to spin on this. And it rolls to the wall down the right field line, like up past the home dugout. Stott immediately rounds first because you could see it in front of him. Castellanos scores. Alec Bohm scores, and it turns into a 2 RBI double to Bryson Stott that landed in front of the first baseman. I've never seen anything like it. And it's 3-2 with the Phillies barely trailing. The top of the third was quiet for the Atlanta Braves. Ranger Suarez settled back in. And then in the bottom of the third, well, Matt Vierling singled to right. Kyle Schwarber got out. Rhys Hoskins got out. But then JT Realmuto singled to left, and Matt Vierling, after stealing second in the Kyle Schwarber at bat, rounds third, comes in to score easily, ties the game at 3. We're tied up at 3 in the third. The fourth, no runs for either team. The fifth, no runs for either team. The sixth, Connor Brogdon comes in relief for Ranger Suarez. And unfortunately, he gives up a run to the Braves on a Marcell Ozuna infield single. It was an infield single that was up the line a little bit and just no one could really get there. There's nothing anyone could do. Austin Reilly, who had doubled to deep left field off the wall, Kyle Schwarber not able to throw him out at second earlier in the inning, scores on that one because he moved up to third on a wild pitch in an at-bat to Travis d'Arnaud, and the Braves take the 4-3 lead. The bottom of the sixth, Phillies make no headway. Top of the seventh, the Braves make no headway. Jose Alvarado comes in. And despite getting a little bit of trouble with a Harris single, a walk to Ronald Acuna, he works out of it by striking out Dansby Swanson, and Matt Olson grounds out the second to end the inning. The Phillies, though, in the bottom of the seventh, well, they don't score there either. In the top of the eighth, the Braves, also quiet, and Andrew Bellotti does his job out of the pen. Another banner night for the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen, who were absolutely dominant in this one against a very good Braves lineup. But then in the bottom of the eighth, the Phillies still need to make up a run. JT Realmuto flies out to right against A.J. Minter. Nick Castellanos flies out to right against A.J. Minter. Both of those balls hit pretty well to right field, but not enough to get over the head of Ronald Acuna, not enough to get down out there. Then Alec Bohm singles to left field. The dude's been absolutely raking. He's hitting over 400 in his last 20 games. He's arguably the hottest hitter on this team. Well, he's the hottest hitter on this team right now. He's arguably the best pure hitter on this team right now based on what he's done over the past month. Incredible resurgence by Alec Bohm. And then Jairo Munoz hits a chopper to second base, and he beats it out. He's able to beat it, so he's on first, Bohm is on second, and it extends the inning to get to Bryson Stott, who already has 2 RBIs on the day. Stott fights his way to a 3-2 count off of A.J. Minter. And just to give you a little bit of a history lesson, well, Minter has only ever given up 1 home run to a lefty in his career prior to last night's game, and that was to Corey Dickerson in 2017. Well, Stott makes it 2. He sends a home run, a 3-run shot into the right field seats, puts the Phillies up 6-4, a great piece of hitting. His third, fourth, and fifth RBIs on the night. And then in the ninth inning, Sir Anthony Dominguez shuts down the Braves 1-2-3, and the Philadelphia Phillies steal a victory. It was great work by Bryson Stott. It was great resolve by the Phillies. Ranger Suarez looked much better. He was really pounding the inside part of the zone early, which shows confidence when you work inside, especially to a lineup with the ability that the Atlanta Braves have. It was just all around a solid game by the Philadelphia Phillies, offensively and pitching-wise. Defense, though, Rhys Hoskins almost made 1 error early where he fumbled a ground ball, a routine ground ball. He was able to recover and make the play. Then he has the play in the second inning that he steps in a weird spot, stretches too early, lets the ball go up the line, costs his team a couple of runs. No good. That cost the team 3 runs. Then later in the game, in a big spot, Ronald Acuna hits a foul ball over on the first base line, and Rhys Hoskins kind of leans over the railing and I'm doing it on YouTube if you can't see it. He tries to like weirdly basket catch it, and it almost hits him in the chest. It just looked awkward. I know the net's there, but it's a play you got to have made. Rhys Hoskins was terrible defensively last night. Just a very bad game for him. But hey, we forget about all that because the Philadelphia Phillies won the game. And I don't think Hoskins is going anywhere, at least this year. We'll see what they do. The defense, we know he's not a good defender, but the Phillies pull the game out anyway. And hey, you'll take any wins against the defending World Series champions that you can get. The bank was electric last night. Hopefully now, with Aaron Nola on the mound tonight, the Phillies can win a series. And coming up next, we'll preview that pitching matchup, tonight's game, and what to look for as the Phils try and win their first series of the second half. First, though, I want to tell you about my friends over at Blue Nile. Maybe you're ready to pop the question, or you're just celebrating a milestone moment. You can find jewelry as unique as her either way with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile's got real simple online tools you can use to create a one-of-a-kind engagement ring. You can pick the diamond shape, size, clarity, setting style, everything, and Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then make sure it's perfectly crafted for her. Maybe you're looking for just fine everyday jewelry like bracelets, earrings, necklace, rings that aren't engagement rings, stuff like that, maybe an anklet. Well, Blue Nile also has jewelry experts on hand 24/7 that can help via phone or chat for you to find a memorable gift and to make it fit in your budget. They got stuff for every budget. If you're on a podcaster salary, you can afford it. If you're on a millionaire salary, I don't think that's a profession, but if you have a lot of money, you can afford it. If you don't have that much money, they will help you find a piece that looks just as good, that you'll love just as much. So go ahead and check them out and make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And going on now is the Blue Nile anniversary sale. So you can save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and up to 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging, so she won't know what's inside. So shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. All right, the Phillies are just a half game back in the third NL wildcard spot, or of the third NL wildcard spot, I should say. So a big game tonight with a chance to make up that ground on the St. Louis Cardinals if the Cardinals do indeed lose their game later tonight. So we're not in the scoreboard watching territory of the schedule yet, but hey, a chance to get back into the playoff race, and this is going to be a back and forth through the entirety of the second half. The matchup tonight on the mound, Aaron Nola faces off against Spencer Strider. And now, I hate to go against Spencer Strider because he has a wonderful mustache, and as a member of the mustached community here, I'm always pro people with the mustache, but I can't root for Strider tonight, of course. Got to root for my boy, Aaron Nola. And it looks like tonight has the making of a pitching duel, a pitcher's duel. Spencer Strider comes in with a 3.03 ERA. Aaron Nola comes in with a 3.13 ERA. Now, Strider's giving up a couple more walks and hits and innings pitched. He's got a 105 whip. Aaron Nola, a sub-1 whip at 0.91. Incredible numbers. Strider only a 74 and a third innings pitched so far this year. Meanwhile, Aaron Nola has a 126 and 2/3 innings pitched. So almost, or actually more than 50 more innings pitched than Strider. He's given up 99 hits, Nola, but obviously it's not comparable to Strider's 48 hits because of the innings difference. Strider has struck out 114, though, in those 74 and a third innings pitched. He's going to K a lot of people. He's also going to walk a lot of people. He's given up 30 walks. Meanwhile, Aaron Nola has struck out 137. We know his strikeout ability. He's only walked 16 this year. He's walked 16. He's given up 13 home runs. So he's almost given up as many home runs as he has walks, and both of those numbers are relatively low. But Spencer Strider has only given up 4 home runs on the year. So this has the makings of a very, very low-scoring game, despite the offensive firepower that you're seeing from both sides. Now, let me just tell you what the Phillies have done in their career versus Spencer Strider, and there's really not that much to see. Kyle Schwarber has 2 at-bats against him. No hits. 0-for. Rhys Hoskins has never faced him. JT Realmuto has never faced him. Derek Hall has never faced him. Nick Castellanos, 0-for-1. Bryson Stott, 0-for-1. Alec Bohm, 0-for-1. Like, these are guys, I'm sorry, Rhys Hoskins and JT Realmuto, I've both seen them. They do not have a listed plate appearance against him. And Didi Gregorius and Matt Vierling have not seen him. There's not a player in the Philadelphia Phillies lineup tonight that has a career hit off of Spencer Strider. Now, Strider's young, so not anything you'd expect, but still, it's something that they'll have to solve the righty who has had a really strong year for Atlanta. Now, of course, numbers are a little bit more, we've got more of a sample size for the Braves against Aaron Nola. And the guys to look out for, well, Acuna is batting .379 career against Aaron Nola in 29 at-bats. Matt Olson is batting .333, but only 6 career at-bats. Austin Reilly absolutely rakes against Aaron Nola. He bats .382 career-wise in 34 at-bats. He's also left the yard 3 times, and Marcelo Zuna has left the yard 3 times on Aaron Nola. So you got some guys that see Nola pretty well. The Braves, he normally does struggle with them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys career batting over 300, but a couple of those guys, Rosario, Harris, and Olson, have only seen him 3 times, and 6 times respectively. So you can kind of throw out those numbers a little bit. It's like the early season numbers where you see guys hitting like 800 in the first week of the season because they just started hot. So not real numbers, but the point is, the Braves see Nola well. He's going to have to step up and have a really good start for them because, well, you've got an interesting matchup coming up in the next game of the series where you'll have Kyle Gibson throw, and Gibson did not look great against Chicago in his first start of the second half. So this is where you want to win the series. The first game, though, Max Fried had been dominant, and the Braves hadn't lost back-to-back games yet this year. That was the first time that they'd lost back-to-back. So, hey, we'll see if the Phillies can make it back-to-back losses. ESPN Analytics gives them a 56.5% chance to win, the Phillies, that is. So they are favored in this game according to ESPN, but we'll see how it plays out. And you heard the lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. I'll run it down one more time. Schwarber leading off, Hoskins at first, JT Realmuto batting third, playing catcher. Derek Hall back in the DH spot against the righty. Nick Castellanos batting fifth, his new spot there. Bryson Stott sixth, Alec Bohm seventh, Didi Gregorius eighth, Matt Vierling in center field batting ninth. So, hey, here goes to another Philadelphia Phillies win. I'll be down at the yard tonight. I'll be tweeting from the ballpark, and we'll keep an eye on everything going on. Hopefully they can pull it off because, well, the Phillies, they'll certainly be happy if they can get this win, and you can also get a St. Louis Cardinals loss. And the Cardinals, meanwhile, just to give you an idea of exactly where the Cardinals are right now in their schedule, who the Phillies are chasing down. Well, they play the Blue Jays tonight at 7:07 p.m. It's their second series of the second half, and Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, both unvaccinated, both unable to travel to Canada. So a big opportunity for the Phillies to make up games there. An unfortunate turn of events for the St. Louis Cardinals. So, hey, we will take it. And the Blue Jays, a solid team. We saw what they did to the Phillies when the Phillies traveled north of the border. The two best players on St. Louis's team. I keep wanting to say Arizona Cardinals because football season's right around the corner. Top 2 players on St. Louis's team not available tonight or for that series with Toronto in general. So, advantage Phillies, right? Let's hope they take advantage and they move on. On the other side, well, we're going to do a little bit of talking about the Nick Castellanos and Jim Salisbury responses from off the poll, and we'll have that all as we wrap up today's Locked On Phillies. First, though, I want to tell you about the Sports Card Investor app. Oh, it's awesome. You got to check it out. If you're a card collector at all, or even if you're not, it's perfect for you. You might be a casual card collector, or you might be looking for exciting alternative investment opportunities. But either way, the free, and yes, it's free to download, the free Sports Card Investor app has something for you. There's a lot of cool tools on there where you can check the valuation of cards. You can see the trend of cards, like, hey, this card has gone up in value because the player's been playing well. This card has been dipping in value, but the value's been high for a year or two, so it might be a time to buy low and then save it and sell high. You could just look at what cards are available to buy, and you could get some of your favorite players. Maybe you want a Bryce Harper card just to keep for yourself, and some nostalgia type stuff. We all remember opening those silvery packs of playing cards, like the actual handheld ones where you pull them out and you see which players you got, what Phillies players you got, what superstar players you got. You got a rookie card if you got one with maybe a piece of a jersey on it, stuff like that. Well, you can do that online now with the free Sports Card Investor app. It's an awesome tool to keep that hobby going, maybe to introduce it to the next generation. If you have kids that you want to get into sports cards, share that like you shared with your parents or like you had growing up. It's awesome. So what I want you to do is I want you to go download the Sports Card Investor app today. It's available for free in the Google Play and Apple app stores, or you can go to sportscardinvestor.com/locked on. Okay, so our off the poll question. We had a little bit of trouble with the Locked On Phillies Twitter account as far as the poll question. Something weird's been going on with Twitter. Our 97.5 The Fanatic Twitter was down like all day today. I don't know what's up with it. What the question was going to be was, will this Jim Salisbury, Nick Castellanos interaction affect the Phillies' play on the field at all? And I think most people would have said no to that. But we did run a poll for my Sunday show. I do. Sunday 9 to noon, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I have a Sunday show on 97.5 The Fanatic that I host. And we ran a poll about who was more in the wrong when it comes to the interaction. So I'll just share the results of that with you and give you my thoughts. And it was 60-40, just about even 60-40 split in favor of Nick Castellanos receiving more blame. Now, I said in an episode I posted yesterday that I placed more blame on Jim Salisbury. But I think part of it that plays in, and here's the reasoning behind why people would pick this way, is that this poll shows that when a player is struggling, we will basically decide in Philadelphia against the player on every argument. Not that I think Nick Castellanos is faultless, but I think this was basically a 50-50 split, maybe a 51-49 in favor of Salisbury in my mind. And the fact that it was 60-40 shows that some people, when a player is struggling, if there's any type of conflict, you automatically side on the opposite side of that player. We are a vengeful city. We know how to hold a grudge. We are quick to anger. And I'm not saying any of these things is necessarily a bad thing, because there are benefits to having that type of passion in a fan base. But it was interesting numbers, and we had over 1,200 responses on that one. So it was a good number of people who chimed in on all of that. And yeah, more people blamed Nick Castellanos for it. But clearly after last night, Nick Castellanos, a nice game at the dish there, got enough done to get his team to a position where they could win. Bryson Stott clearly did more, but Nick Castellanos, not a bad game. And he's leading the team in hits, I believe, the Philadelphia Phillies so far this year. So that's something to keep an eye on. But it was just something that we needed to address when it came to how it would affect the team. And clearly it doesn't affect the team on the field at all. So that's a quasi off the poll where we're responding to a poll question, not the one that we asked, but one you may have responded to on 97.5 The Fanatic, because we got thousands of responses on that one. And with that, we put that chapter of the weird Philadelphia Phillies 2022 season to bed. We wipe our hands of it. We move on. And we focus on Atlanta Braves, Philadelphia Phillies Game 2 later tonight. Tomorrow I'll have a preview. Tomorrow afternoon, there will be a preview of the Philadelphia Phillies Pittsburgh Pirates series that starts on Thursday. So we'll get that posted either tomorrow night or Thursday. Tomorrow we'll have a recap of the Brave series because it's a 12:35 game. So that episode will come out post-game. And also on Thursday, we're going to have a trade deadline preview. It'll either be posted Thursday or posted Friday, but I will record that on Thursday for you. So a lot of great content coming out. Make sure you stay locked in on Locked On Phillies. And I want to thank you for making Locked On Phillies your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan is awesome. He's got great humor. He's got great intelligence when it comes to the game of baseball. He knows the history of the game. He has incredible stories. Like, he is a baseball historian is the way I would describe him. And he's so entertaining the way he presents everything, from breaking news around the league to the big storylines of the season. Check out Locked On MLB. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. That's all I've got for you today, and I will talk to you all hopefully after another Phillies win tomorrow.